Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Thursday, December 24, 2015. Join us for the next 45 minutes as we deliver today's top stories around the globe. I am William Thio, sitting in for Angelo Castro III.
We are here to give you carefully gathered stories, assuring you of accurate, truthful, and balanced newscasts. I'm Gerry Alcantara.
We are also seen in 1,360 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through www.untv.com, untwweb.com. This is
Why News.
Here are the headlines. LTFRB caught and stopped an out-of-line bus bound for Tacloban at the Araneta bus terminal. NAIA 3 orders augmentation of airline company staff in check-in counters to avoid hassles. MMDA plans to conduct holiday shake drill in Metro Manila this holiday season.
The MRT has a new maintenance provider starting next year. And the PNP anti-kidnapping group rescues a Chinese victim in Sorsogon.
First in the news, the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board impounds a Colorum bus at Araneta Bus Terminal bound for Tacloban. Meanwhile, more passengers heading for Bicol are still stranded due to lack of buses. Joanano will tell us why live. Yes, good evening, Joanne.
Good evening, William. A Colorum bus at the Araneta Bus Terminal was impounded by the Land Transportation Office earlier today. During an inspection by the members of the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board at past 8 this morning, a public utility vehicle owned by the Megabus line was identified to be a Colorum vehicle after it was found to have expired documents. The bus is bound for Tacloban. The bus that was originally en route to Market in Fort Santiago also failed to submit a special permit to the LTFRB.
So checking the records, nakita natin na Colorum. No? Colorum. Since Colorum, delikado, walang mga insurance yung pasahero, malayo biyahe, magpapasko, ayaw namin pabilhin to.
In the middle of the inspection, the bus seemed to have problems starting its engine. According to the bus driver, the clutch was already found to be damaged since last night but was promptly fixed.
Lagi naman namin binibiyaya, wala namang sira. Kagabi lang kaya pinagawa ko na. So alangan na yung biyahe namin ng sira, layo ng biyahe. Yung kaya ang kondisyon yung bus.
Aside from a defective engine, seats and seat belts of the bus are similarly broken. On the other hand, the driver has also admitted that he lacked sleep. That is why the passengers were displeased with what happened. Passengers say that this is a huge inconvenience for them, especially to those who have waited in the long queue since midnight, and most of them had their tickets reserved since last week.
Hindi dapat nila ipinalabas ito kasi expire yung prangkisa, wala siyang tsaka Colorum, tsaka may sira din, dapat yung kumpleto sa papel tsaka okay condition sa makina.
Dati papunta ako ng Manila, ito na sakyan ko, palpak, sira. 3 araw rin yun, dapat 2 araw rin yung biyahe ko. Dahil 3, nakabangga pa, naubusan ng gas, nasira.
Meanwhile, it was already past 12 noon when the passengers who were all behind schedule were transferred to a better bus unit. Meanwhile, William, we are now right here in EDSA Cubao, Aurora to check the latest traffic situation as of this moment along EDSA. For motorists and commuters going to south, for those who are coming from Balintawak area going to Muñoz, will experience light movement of vehicles as of this moment. Vehicles are also in fast-moving situation from North Avenue until Quezon Avenue. From here in Cubao area going to White Plains, Connecticut and Ortigas, vehicles are now in light traffic condition too. Vehicles going to Makati will also feel light to moderate traffic from Orense, Guadalupe, same in Buendia and EDSA, Ayala. Travelers coming from Pasay Road going to Taft area until Mall of Asia, vehicles are also in fast-moving situation. Meanwhile, in EDSA northbound, starting from Magallanes Interchange all the way to Ayala, Buendia, Pioneer, Boni, and EDSA Shaw Boulevard, vehicles are now in light to moderate traffic condition. Light traffic will also be felt in Mega Mall and Ortigas flyover northbound. Travelers along White Plains and Tolan will also feel fast movement of vehicles. But as you can see right now, the northbound of Cubao Farmers until here in Cubao Aurora will experience moderate to heavy traffic. This will slightly loosen up upon reaching Nepa-Q Mart all the way to Nia Road and Quezon Avenue flyover. Same traffic situation will also be experienced from North Avenue until they reach the area of Balintawak. William, we would like to remind the drivers that since tomorrow is holiday, the MMDA has suspended the number coding scheme. This means all vehicles can freely travel within Metro Manila starting tomorrow until on Sunday. That was the latest traffic update. Back to you, William.
Thank you very much, Joanne Nano, reporting live from EDSA, Cubao. Meanwhile, the MIA has expressed confidence that the problems that occurred last December 2014 at the NAIA Terminal 3 will no longer happen this holiday season. Tell us why, Mon Hokson.
The management of the NAIA Terminal 3 is expecting higher influx of passengers this December holiday compared with same period last year. Terminal 3 General Manager Octavio Lina says 48 to 50,000 was the estimated daily average passenger flow in December 2014. In the same period this year, the estimate is at more than 53,000. Lina also expects that the huge influx of passengers will no longer continue next week.
Ang tingin ko dito, itong Sabado-Linggo lang naman. Kasi Monday kasi may pasok pa rin. So malamang yan, hindi na magbabalikan yan. Kasi baka ituloy na rin yung bakasyon na yan hanggang after New Year na.
MIA spokesperson David De Castro says 1.4 million departures were recorded in December 2014 and they expect the same or even higher number for this whole month. De Castro also noted that though there is an expected surge in the number of NAIA travelers, the passenger traffic flow remains moderate, unlike that of the same period in 2014, where delays happened due to the problems at check-in counters, specifically of Cebu Pacific. It can be recalled that in December 2014, many passengers experienced delays due to problems at check-in counters of Cebu Pacific. To avoid experiencing such an incident, Hilario Ricaforte came early for his flight.
Wala naman po akong ginagawa. Para dito na lang po antayin yung para hindi mas maganda yung umaga para hindi siya maiwasan yung madili.
Airport authorities have expressed confidence that similar incidents will no longer occur since they have already asked airline companies to ensure that they have enough personnel at check-in counters.
Yung delay, meron pa rin tayo prepared. Pero yung nangyaring insidente last year, sa check-in counter kasi yung pagpaprocess ng mga papel, yung mga pagpaprocess ng mga pasahero sa counter, no? So ngayon kasi in-anticipate na namin yung mga ganun magiging problema. So we coordinated with the airline para mag-fully man sila ng mga tao nila lahat ng counters. So para kumpleto naman sila ng tao sa counter.
De Castro meanwhile says airline companies vowed to comply with their requests.
And so far so good. Nadagdagan nila yung tao nila if needed para mas efficient yung processing ng passengers. Dinagdagan naman nila. We also requested that they open their check-in counters at an earlier time just to be able to accommodate our passengers na yung mga maaga sa terminals at nagawa din naman nila yon.
Authorities, meanwhile, remind passengers anew to follow guidelines to avoid delays and to carefully inspect their belongings before entering the airport. Mon Hokson reporting for Y News.
And with a high volume of passengers this holiday season, the Mamalacat Bus Terminal Management has installed additional CCTV units. Meanwhile, passengers are struggling to get a ride. Grace Casin will tell us why.
The terminal administrator of the Mabalacan bus terminal in Pampanga has instructed their staff to stay alert due to the influx of passengers bound for provinces this weekend. Elmer Lopez, the Chief Marshal of Public Safety and Quality Control Department of the terminal, said they added closed-circuit television or CCTV cameras in all corners of the terminal. From 20 CCTV, they added additional 6 units.
Standard kasi is 18. So ginawa naming 26 dahil may mga anggulo kasi na kailangang sigurado kami.
This is to protect the safety of the passengers against lawless elements who may take advantage of the situation. They would also be able to monitor arriving buses. Likewise, the management augmented the number of their marshals from 20 to 50. This includes non-uniform marshals to keep the passengers safe.
May mga nakadetail ng mga tao dyan. Hindi man sila naka-uniform, nandyan sila. In case na madidikitan kaagad nila yung problema.
Mabalacat Bus Terminal serves as stopover from Manila-bound passengers and travelers to provinces in northern Luzon. Meanwhile, the terminal administrators said they're expecting numbers of passengers to increase at around 6 p.m. tonight. Most of them are expected to be bound from the northern provinces. Some passengers have been waiting for 5 hours just to get a ride.
5 oras na kami dito. Kanina pa kami alas 8. Puro puno yung sasakyan.
Some passengers say it is okay even if they travel standing in the bus. The terminal administrator said they have talked to van rentals for augmentation.
Van, taxi. Basta yung kanyang meron silang franchise na taxi. At saka yung meron silang yung insurance coverage na PAME.
Bus units have usual capacity of 50 passengers. However, during this period, they overload up to 60 passengers. Meanwhile, the Mabalacat Terminal Administrator said they are open for operation 24 hours to accommodate the passengers. Grace Caston reporting for Y News.
Light vehicles may now pass the MacArthur Highway in Kalumpit, Bulacan after days of heavy flooding. Marge Navarro will tell us why.
MacArthur Highway in Barangay Corazon, Kalumpit, Bulacan is now passable to light vehicles. This is after heavy flood began receding following the 5 days of rain brought about by Typhoon Nona. For now, the road is only open for motorcycles, tricycles, cars, and passenger jeepneys. Half-kilometer of the road is still under construction by the Department of Public Works and Highways or DPWH. Large vehicles like trucks and buses are advised to take San Simon exit when going to Apalit. Motorists are to expect heavy traffic due to the ongoing construction which most residents complain about.
Siyempre, mahirap po. Pati gastos, malaki. Katulad ko, buhat Malolos hanggang Apalit, 19 lang ang bayad ko dahil senior ako. Kamukha ngayon, magkano na ibabayad ko? Sang 8, sang 15 ngayon. Niwa mo ito ng benching ko. Sana maayos na itong karsada at parang dire-diretso na.
Hindi maganda pasada. Dati maganda ng Malolos, Apalit. Putol nga, hindi nahirapan yung mga tao na perwisyo. Kanina nga binuksan, ayan yung maliliit. Pinatutuloy yung maliliit na sasakyan, ng magagang, ng kotse, tricycle, ayan motor, mga single.
Meanwhile, 6 barangays in Kalumpit remain flooded. These are barangays Sapang Bayan, San Jose, San Miguel, Calison, Santa Lucia, and Mayto. Likewise, Barangay Carillo, San Agustin, San Juan, San Isidro, Palapat, and Abulalas are still submerged in floodwater.
Beginning January next year, the MRT will have a new maintenance provider under contract for 3 years. Juan Hoxon will tell us why.
Beginning January 5, 2016, the new maintenance provider for the Metro Rail Transit 3 will be on the job. The 3-year maintenance contract was awarded to the joint venture between Busan Transportation Corporation, Edison Development and Construction, Tramat Mercantile, and Castan Corporation. They are given 3 years to give enough time to purchase the spare parts and have more trains in operation, especially during peak hours. The contract also requires general overhauling of all the train units as well as the replacement of the signaling system. MRT General Manager Roman Buenafe is confident that having a new maintenance provider will finally solve problems in the MRT, particularly lack of trains and the frequent breakdowns. Buenafe said Busan Transportation Corporation will lead the maintenance process. In fact, all Korean experts administered by the company will stay in the country to closely monitor the maintenance work.
Magkakaroon ako ngayon ng tunay na expert at may track record at tunay na eksperyensya sa pagpapatakbo ng isang light rail system or metro rail system. Katunayan, pag nagsimula na sila ay humihingi ako sa kanila ng hindi bababa sa 4 na Koreano na expert sa rail and train system na mamamalagi rito at maging permis dito sa ating bansa.
Buenafe admits that the repairs will not be easy, thus it is expected that next year the needed spare parts will be delivered one by one.
Hindi rin naman overnight to. Ang success nito, no? Nakapagsimula naman validate na at assess ng system ang grupong to, inaasahan ko na pagtungtong nila ng Enero ay nakapagsimula na sila mamili at umorder ng mga pyesa para sa MRT-3.
Meanwhile, the new MRT train from Dalian, China has arrived in Manila Port area yesterday. After it is cleared through customs procedures, it will immediately be transported to the MRT depot for inspection. It will undergo tests on the traction motor, brake system, and its overall performance to ensure that it is safe for passengers to ride. Next month, 2 more trains are expected to arrive in the country and hope to be operational in the first quarter of next year. Mon Hokson reporting for Y News.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority is planning to hold the Metro Manila Shake Drill during the holiday season. Mon Hokson, would you tell us why?
The MMDA officer in charge, Attorney Emerson Carlos, reiterated that it is important for every citizen to be prepared and well-equipped for a 7.2 magnitude earthquake, especially since no one knows when it will hit.
So, ang gusto naming maturo talaga is go down to the lowest level na at home sa bahay ninyo meron kayong sariling evacuation plan. Ready yung mga go bags ninyo. Alam nyo kung paano yung communication networking ninyo. Alam nyo yung gagawin nyo down to the household level.
Titon Mitra, the United Nations Development Program Country Director, also said the same.
Essentially, this is inspiration in itself. The role of the contingency plan is to save lives and to enable recovery swiftly.
So the MMDA also plans to conduct a Metro Manila Shake Drill during the holiday season to simulate the appropriate response during these times.
Hanap tayo ba sa situation? For example, sabi nga ni Director Solidum, hindi naman tayo makapilong kaya baka Pasko mangyari. Let's say mangyari ng Christmas season na matraffic ang mga road networks. Anong gagawin natin?
Recently, the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council or NDRRMC launched the Oplan Metro Yakal Plus or the Metro Manila Earthquake Contingency Plan. In Oplan Metro Manila Yakal Plus, various government agencies are expected to respond in case of a strong earthquake in Metro Manila. In addition to this, strong coordination and capacity will be established for faster relief and rescue operations through the support of local government units in Greater Metro Manila areas or Region 3 provinces such as Laguna, Cavite, and Rizal, where West Valley Fault also runs through. Many residents in these areas work and travel to Metro Manila. And the RRMC also issued hazard maps to these concerned LGUs.
So may protocol na ngayon na kasama ang NDRRMC, hindi lang MMDRRMC level. Kung ano ang response ng national government.
Mon Hokson reporting for Y News.
Senator Chis Escudero is appealing to the government and the CPP-NPA to extend the ceasefire perhaps until the May 2016 elections. Tell us why, Joe Anano.
The 12-day suspension of military operations or SOMO approved by President Benigno Aquino III took effect yesterday, December 23, 2015 at 12:01 a.m. It will last until 11:59 p.m. of January 3, 2016. Prior to this, the Communist Party of the Philippines has declared a ceasefire for the same period. Even so, Senator Cheese Escudero is appealing that both sides should consider extending the ceasefire until the May 2016 elections.
Nais ko'y panawagan ganito panukala sa pamahalaan at saka sa CPP, NPA, NDF na yung ceasefire na pinapairaw nila sa ngayon hanggang sa New Year, sana at baka pwede naman mapag-usapan nila na panatilihin na yan hanggang sa darating na eleksyon.
Escudero hopes that the existing truce will provide the first step to the continuation of peace talks between the government and rebel groups. Joanna reporting for Y News.
In other news, 5 suspects were arrested by the PNP anti-kidnapping group in an operation rescuing a Chinese kidnapped victim in Sorsogon. Victor Cosare will tell us why.
The PNP anti-kidnapping group has finally rescued Chinese businessman Giovanni Rosano Tan, who was kidnapped on December 22 in Matnog, Sorsogon. According to PNP AKG Director, Police Senior Superintendent Roberto Fajardo, 5 suspects were also arrested, 2 of which were ex-convicts identified as Marlon Atizo and Dracilu Falcon.
Ongoing investigation, we are trying to determine kung may iba pang grupo na nasa labas.
Recovered from the suspects were a Mitsubishi Adventure, different types of firearms, ammunitions, several magazines, cellular phones, two-way radio, and vehicle plate numbers, which were used in their operations. Tan was kidnapped in Tarlac on December 10, while his security aide was killed by his captors. The victim was then kept in Mindanao and was eventually brought to Sorsogon, where authorities managed to rescue him by tracking the suspects through the CCTV. That is why the AKG is appealing to lawmakers to amend and intensify the act against kidnap for ransom cases.
So sa mga ating mga mambabatas, come up with a strong and political will solution to the kidnap for ransom cases para mas matibay ang ating panlaban against ito sa mga kriminal.
Meanwhile, the AKG also boasted the decline of kidnapping cases in the country. From the 52 recorded cases in 2013, it has dropped to 50 in 2014 and has continuously decreased to 37 in 2015. Victor Cosare reporting for Y News.
The Philippine Overseas Employment Agency or POEA has warned the public not to easily give in to overseas job offers posted on the internet. Tell us why, Grace Casin.
Illegal recruiters are now maximizing the use of internet to victimize those who wish to work abroad. Thus, the POEA has warned the public not to be enticed by allegedly high-paying jobs being offered by them. POEA Deputy Administrator Ami Reyes said the recruiters usually rush the recruitment process and elaborate words to easily convince the victim. They would offer jobs without requiring placement fees, PRC license, or exams.
Huwag po basta-basta tatanggap ng kahit anong offer, lalo na po sa mga internet. Kailangan siguraduhin po nila na totoo ang job order, totoo ang sweldo na sinasabi.
The agency also reminded job seekers not to easily believe job offers sent through email. These offers usually target Filipino nurses who wish to work in prestigious hospitals in Canada, United Kingdom, the United States of America, and Singapore. The sender usually asks the victim for a registration fee of 3,750 pesos as seminar fee.
Nakakagulat yung mga announcement via internet, no? Minsan, ilang libong dolyar, madali. Tapos sasabihin nila, wag na kayong dumaan sa POEA, sagabal yung POEA sa buhay ninyo. Pero actually, sa totoo lang po, ito ay pinipilit nilang padaliin. At the end of the day, either the worker did not leave at all, pero nakuhanan siya ng malaking pera, or nakaalis man siya, pero grabe naman ang binayad din niya.
Thus, the POEA reminds applicants who wish to work overseas to coordinate with them so as to avoid falling into the schemes of illegal recruiters. This is because it would be difficult for the agency to help undocumented OFWs who leave the country illegally.
Kung ang isang nagre-recruit ay walang lisensya, legitimate na lisensya sa atin po, wala silang karapatan na sila ay makapagpadala ng kahit sino sa destination and to any destination country.
At present, there are about 10 million overseas Filipino workers outside the country. Grace Casson reporting for Y News.
Respondents in the Mama Sapano cases were given until January 14 of next year to file their counter affidavits against complaints related to the killing of 35 PNP Special Action Force commandos in Tucanalipal Village, Mama Sapano, Maguindanao last January 25, 2015. Victor Casale tells us why.
Most of the respondents in the Mama Sapano cases failed to attend 2 consecutive preliminary investigation hearings before the Department of Justice. Only 6 of more than 100 respondents complied with the subpoena issued by DOJ. 3 of them already submitted their counter affidavits. Thus, the DOJ panel gave the respondents one last chance until January 14 next year to submit their counter affidavits. If they still fail to do so, the complaints will be resolved based on the evidence and arguments of the NBI and the private complainants.
Any lawyers who will represent these respondents should file the necessary pleading for us to reopen again the preliminary investigation or admit the counter affidavits if they will file counter affidavits.
The 3 respondents who submitted their counter affidavits denied participation in the incident. They repudiated links with the MILF or BIFF. According to their lawyer, it is impossible for the alleged witness to accurately identify each individual that SAF encountered, particularly since the place was still dark when it happened at about 5 in the morning. He added that they sympathize with the family of the victims and they also hope that the real perpetrators of the crime will be brought to justice. The respondents are facing direct assault with murder and theft charges for the killing of 35 SAF troopers and for taking their personal belongings. The slain troopers in January participated in the Mama Sapano operations that intended to capture terrorist Zulkifli Binhir alias Marwan. Victor Cosare reporting for Y News.
Y News will be right back.
Ngayong taon, apektado tayong lahat ng ang ating bansa ang naging host country sa 2015 APEC Summit. Naiparamdam natin sa mga delegates ng forum na ito ang mainit at magilaw na pagtanggap at pag-asikaso ng mga Pinoy.
Since APEC was established in 1989, this is the very first time that APEC has adopted a disaster risk reduction framework.
Ngunit sa malaking event na ito, hindi rin naiwasan ang mga issue tulad ng pansamantalang paglipat ng mga street dwellers at ang matinding traffic na naranasan ng mga motorista. Samahan niyo kaming balikan ang mga nangyari sa nakaraang APEC Summit sa Repaso 2015.
The Commission on Higher Education, or CHED, prepares teachers for the government's K-12 program. Ann Nunez, would you tell us why?
K-12 teachers will undergo training, especially those who will be assigned in senior high school. Committee on Higher Education, or CHED, said DepEd plans to hire more than 60,000 teachers until 2018 for the program. CHED Executive Director Attorney Julito Vitrillo said on Good Morning Kuya, government set a transition fund worth 8 billion pesos on a year-to-year basis that includes the training for the teachers.
On the part of CHED, nandyan yung assistance. For those who will be retained, dahil kahit kokonti yung kanilang tuturuan dahil wala nga first year and second year, magkakaroon sila ng makabuluhang, nagagawin. Yun nga, yung upgrading na nabanggit natin, yung research, yung immersion sa industry, and additional training.
He said that K-12 will contribute a lot in raising quality of education in the country and consequently earn recognition of international education. The agency said there are cases that professional OFWs suffer discrimination upon seeing the level of their educational attainment to the point that the employer lower their salary.
tinitignan nila minsan yung kadalasan yung kanilang background. Pag nakitang kulang sa basic education, nada-downgrade sila, ano?
In June 2016, implementation of grade 11 will begin as part of the senior high school level. According to DepEd, more than 9,000 schools nationwide are now ready for senior high school. Senior high school program is divided into 4 programs that students can choose from. These are the academic, technical vocational livelihood, sports, and arts and designs. Aside from the early registration, construction of additional classrooms for K-12 is still ongoing. Based on the assessment of DepEd, around 1.6 million students will enroll in grade 11 next year. Ann Nunez reporting for Y News.
Meanwhile, the local government of Cebu and the Cebu Provincial Anti-Drug Commission commended police personnel and stations with the best performance against illegal drugs in the province. Darlene Basingan tells us why.
The Cebu Provincial Police has conducted more than 1,000 anti-drug operations this year. The dedicated efforts of policemen have contributed much to the success of the operations. Therefore, the local government of Cebu recognized policemen who have displayed honesty and bravery in their performance of duty this year.
Nalipay kami, the provincial government is glad you're all very active sa atong program against drugs.
Several police stations were also commended, such as the Samboan Police Station, the Now City Police Station, and the Provincial Intelligence Branch. Each awardee was given 5,000 peso cash. Governor Davide thanked the troops for their dedication and support to the LGU's campaign against illegal drugs.
And I thank you for your coordination, for your efforts, for your dedication. The provincial government will continue to support your operations.
Provincial Intelligence Branch Head Police Superintendent Rodolfo Albotra is hopeful that the commendation will inspire the policemen to perform better service to the people.
This is a moral booster sa ato ang mga operative to do more effort. Kung unsa ilang gi-execute nila sa una, siguro we will double this one since nga ang atong provincial government is very supportive in our every operations.
The PNP assures to continue its efforts to maintain peace and order in the city. Darlene Basingan reporting for Y News.
Expect colder temperatures in the coming days. Pag-asa said northeast monsoon or amihan is affecting extreme northern Luzon, but it will cover larger areas of the country starting tomorrow. As of 6:30 a.m. today, the minimum temperature is 21.6 degrees Celsius. Based on Pag-asa's forecast, Batanes, Calayan, and Babuyan group of islands will experience isolated light rains, while isolated thunderstorms will prevail over Metro Manila and the rest of the country. No tropical cyclone is seen to affect the country in the next 2 days.
As the influx of refugees trying to reach Western Europe continues, Syrians fleeing the war through the Balkan route complain their situation has been made more difficult. Meanwhile, amateur videos uploaded to the internet appear to show the aftermath of what is said to be a chemical attack by Syrian government forces in the Muadamiya al-Sham district of the Damascus province. Nunez will tell us why.
In Syria, a town on the outskirts of Syria's capital, Damascus, was hit by a chemical attack by Syrian government forces on Tuesday, December 22. Videos posted on the internet purported to show. The video, said to be filmed in the town of Muadamiya al-Sham, appeared to show people crammed into a hospital, screaming and crying as medical staff tried to treat those injured in the attack. A third video uploaded to a social media website and also said to be filmed in Muadamiya al-Sham showed 3 men believed to have died in Tuesday's chemical attack. None of the men showed visible signs of injuries, but an audio of a man's voice said all 3 men had suffered from internal bleeding in the lungs. Reuters cannot verify the authenticity of these videos, which were all posted on a social media website on Wednesday. In Iraq, Video uploaded to social media by a pro-Islamic State group is said to show the aftermath of airstrikes around the city of Mosul, Iraq on Tuesday, December 22. The footage appears to show heavy damage and multiple civilian casualties, including children. A written statement released that day by the US-led coalition against Islamic State counted 7 airstrikes in locations in the city that day. The targets included a building and vehicles owned by the Islamic militant group, as well as bunkers, assembly areas, and fighting positions, according to the media release. The video bears the logo of AMAQ News Agency, a known supporter of the Islamic State. In Macedonia, as the flow of refugees into Western Europe via the Balkan route continues at a steady rate of about 3,000 people per day, Syrians fleeing the war complain that their situation has been made even more difficult in recent weeks because of an increased number of expertly forged or stolen Syrian documents used by non-Syrian migrants hoping to reach Europe. Syrians already housed in a temporary camp only hundreds of meters inside Macedonia territory say the situation makes their goal of reaching Western European countries even more difficult, as the rise in number of forgeries causes stricter border controls and overcrowding. Syrian passports are highly sought after in Lebanon and Turkey, countries that most migrants arriving to the Balkans pass through on their way to Greece, and the price of fake documents is rumored to be between 1,000 and 3,000 euros on the black market. More than 1 million refugees and migrants came to the European Union this year, while almost 3,700 died or went missing in perilous journeys, which reaped huge profit for smugglers, the International Organization for Migration IOM said earlier this week. Ann Nunez reporting for Y News.
Real Madrid and Portugal soccer star Cristiano Ronaldo shows off his house. Meanwhile, NBA superstars joined victims of gun violence to speak out against shooting deaths in the United States. Ray Consolacion will tell us why.
U.S. basketball stars will speak out against gun violence in a television campaign focusing on the 88 Americans who are killed with guns every day and the hundreds more who are injured. The campaign will tip off with the first of several Spike Lee-directed public service announcements during ABC and ESPN's NBA game coverage on December 25. A 30-second PSA unveiled on Wednesday will be shown during games broadcast by the Walt Disney Company-owned ABC and ESPN networks. It will feature Stephen Curry of the Golden State Warriors, Carmelo Anthony of the New York Knicks, Chris Paul of the Los Angeles Lakers, and Joakim Noah of the Chicago Bulls talking about personal experiences of gun violence. The PSA, directed by filmmaker Spike Lee in partnership with former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg's Everytown for Gun Control, walks a fine line with pro athletes and average Americans saying, quote, "In the United States, 88 people die of gun violence every day," end of quote. Viewers are then urged to visit the website, everytown.wecanendgunviolence.org. The words, quote, "gun control," end of quote, do not occur in the spot, which does not call for specific policy changes. Gun control is a hot-button topic in the United States where the Second Amendment of the Constitution protects the right to bear arms. Efforts to push through national reforms to gun laws following mass shootings, including at a Newtown, Connecticut elementary school and a Roseburg, Oregon community college, have met firm resistance in the Republican-controlled Congress. The campaign also features 35 gun violence survivors from all across the country, from Boston to Chicago to New York City, and includes stories of everyday gun violence in urban communities to mass shootings in Newtown, Aurora, and Tucson. Many of the survivors share personal stories about gun violence and basketball, including the family of Tyrone Lawson, who was shot and killed after a basketball game at Chicago State University in January 2013. Richard Martinez, whose son Christopher was an avid and competitive basketball player before he was killed in Isla Vista in May 2014, and Kim Odom, whose son Steven dreamed of playing in the NBA. Meanwhile, soccer superstar Cristiano Ronaldo has given fans an early present by showing off his house in a wealthy suburb of Madrid. The Real Madrid and Portugal striker shows his bedroom, saying he needs plenty of rest, then the living room where he watches football on a giant TV screen. In the dining room, he praises his chefs, saying they help maintain his figure. Then he shows a room overlooking the garden where he likes to relax with friends. Finally, he goes outside where there is a swimming pool and soccer practice net. The single-story house is reported to have cost more than $7 million and have 7 bedrooms and 8 bathrooms. Ray Consolacion reporting for Y News.
A small but fast-growing number of men are taking childcare leaves in South Korea, a country where rigid adherence to traditional gender roles has left the burden of child rearing to mothers. Precious Ong will tell us why.
It's a weekday morning and Chung Sang-hun, 34, is at home with his 2 small children, classical music playing in the background. Fathers like Chung, who has taken a year of paternity leave from his job in sales with a big foreign company, were once so rare in male-dominated South Korea that they are called super dads, but their ranks are growing.
아침 밥 준비하고 설거지하고 전 다 모든 게 다 보람이 있어요. 저녁 때 저희 와이프는 또 그다음 회사 가야 되니까 학교 가야 되니까 힘들잖아요. 근데 아이들은 또 이제 책 더 읽어달라고 하고 그때 저는 그냥 부담 없이 어차피 저는 그다음에 또 늦게 일어나야 되니까 그때 책 읽어주고 이런 게 너무 보람돼요. 근데 사실 전반적으로 통틀어 보면 앞서 말씀드렸지만 제 가치를 좀 지킬 수 있다는 거.
Chung said his manager needed convincing as he did not have a sick child or emergency at home. His paternity leave was the first in his 100-person office. At home in Seoul, Chung helps his kids put on their socks before heading to a daycare center and comforts his crying 2-year-old after his big sister refuses to share a toy. Chung appreciates how different this all is to the home he grew up in.
그래서 사실 육아휴직 한 것도 있고 저희 아버지 세대랑은 좀 그런 부분들이 좀 달라야겠다는 생각을 해서 사실 육아휴직 하게 된 결심 중에 또 하나가 또 있습니다.
That concern among women has contributed to the lowest birth rate among countries in the OECD group of rich nations. South Korea ranks 115th of 145 in the World Economic Forum's Gender Equality Index. President Park Geun-hye has made paternity leave a priority to address the declining birth rate and give a boost to women's careers. And this month, she unveiled a multi-billion plan to combat the grim demographic outlook. Even though mothers and fathers are entitled to equal amounts of childcare leave, just 3,421 men took advantage of the right in 2014, although that was double the 1,790 in 2012, who put down their laptops to pick up their children on a full-time basis, according to the Labor Ministry. In the first half of this year, the number of paternity leave takers surged 40% to 2,212. But men still made up just 5% of the parents taking leaves in conservative South Korea. The government has set a goal of increasing the ratio of men taking leaves to 30% by 2030, changing a culture in a country where men are notoriously aloof from child rearing and housework. Reality television shows such as Return of Superman, featuring male celebrities taking care of their children, are also credited with helping to lure fathers into being more hands-on. The government plan includes expanding incentives for stay-at-home dads and strengthening financial support for small and medium-sized enterprises in exchange for allowing men to take parental leave. But it remains to be unseen how much such incentives will help change thinking in a demanding, top-down, male-driven workplace culture that includes after-work drinking sessions.
장시간 노동 문화를 개선해서 남성들로 하여금 육아나 가족 생활에 참여할 수 있도록 남성들의 가족 시간을 확보해주는 방안이 필요할 것으로 생각을 합니다.
Back in Chung's home, his wife Jun Jong-mi is greeted by her son at the door as she returns home from work.
네, 편하게 일을 할 수가 있는 것 같아요. 집 걱정 안 해도 되고, 빨리 안 가도 되고, 또 아침에 이렇게 출근할 때 할 때 애들한테 미안한 마음 안 들어도 되고.
A survey by the Korean Women's Development Institute found that 64% of men were willing to take paternity leave, but only 2% had actually done so. Precious Ong reporting for Y News.
And those are the reasons behind the news December 24, 2015. I am William Thio, sitting in for Angelo Castro III.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I'm Gerry Alcantara.
Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Thank you for watching
Why News.